Hello, Sarah and Michael. I'm Zil Patel with the Trademarks Practice Group at Law Firm. I'll be assisting you in the legal guidance on obtaining a trademark protection for your business, Eco Green Safe Tech. So, just a brief on what we will be discussing today. We'll be taking you through the key benefits of your trademark protection, the types of trademarks you should be focusing on that we should apply for, the potential IP Australia fees, the trademark application process, search results, which would provide us with the relevant similarities or conflicts we could be up against, and alternative options in case of any unsuccessful registrations. So first, let's talk a bit about the advantages of a trademark protection. So registering your trademark grants you exclusive rights to use the mark in connection with your goods and services. So this legally protects and prevents any unauthorized use or infringement, which hence enhances your brand recognition and adds value to your business. Furthermore, it also acts as a deterrent to any potential infringers and increases the overall value of the business. It would also prevent any competitors from using your brand identity, so that comes under your exclusive rights page. So without your trademark protection, the business is at a risk of brand dilution, customer confusions, and any potential legal disputes that may come up. Now we'll move on to talking about the particular trademarks that the company should be focusing on in obtaining. Let's go on to that. So now moving on for the recommended trademarks. For Eco Green Safe Tech, we recommend registering the two following trademarks. That would be a word mark, the first one for Eco Green Safe Tech to ensure a broad protection covering the use of the various names in various fonts and colors, and the logo provided to ensure the protection of the color scheme that is personalized and the visual representation, which hence will help distinguish the company from others in the niche. Now, that's not enough to cover a trademark. We'll need to go into the certain classes of goods and services. First, talking about the goods, those range from class 1 to 34. So the goods that we would need to consider are class 9, which are your electronics from recycled goods. Class 12, which cover your vehicles. So that would be the logo on the bus and the camper van. Class 16 is your office requisites, so your pen, your notebooks, things like that. Class 18 is your reusable bags. So those are your grocery bags or stuff like that. Class 20 are your eco-friendly furniture. Class 21 is the household and kitchen use. Class 24 and 25 are both clothing. Class 24 is your fabrics, and Class 25 are your biodegradable clothing. Moving on to the services, Class 35 are your online consultancy services. So those are your business related consultancy services for sustainability. Class 40 is your biomass recycling and processing. So that's your renewable energy that you guys are still considering. And lastly, class 42 are your technological information about environmentally consciousness. So that's your educational workshops that you guys have running. So those would be considered under all those classes, and we would need to um, make your application accordingly to those. Um, Although we do have two recommended trademarks, the word mark would be a more sought out option. However, the logo is also important to trademark because it ensures that you both have a visual representation and a word of mouth type of thing. So that would be all your classes that you would need to consider. Now we'll move on to the potential IP Australia fees that have been linked with your application. So now considering our potential IP Australia fees, the standard trademark application comes with fees associated per class, so it wouldn't be as a whole. So as you can see on the screen, your trademark application with a pre-approved pick list would be $250 per class. And without a pre-approved pick list, that same thing would be $400 per class. So considering our previous slides and the amount of classes that we have, considered, those are 11 classes, so that would total up to a total of $2,750 for a trademark application with a pick list. and $4,400 for a trademark application without a pick list. So that's your custom classes if you wanted to create some. So after that is approved, you get 10 years of your trademark, and then there comes something called renewal costs. So renewal costs are not as a whole. Again, renewal costs are per class, so that would be $400 per class. So again, that would total out to a renewal fee of $4,400 if all 11 classes are total. So now that's considered, we'll move on to the actual trademark process and what our role is in that. So now we discuss the trademark process and what our role is in that. So step one is the main to IP Australia, specifying the type of trademark we want, all the relevant classes, and a description of the goods and services. So that would come under the classes. Step two is your examination period, which is possibly the longest period. So this is where IP Australia would assess your application, whether the trademark is distinctive enough and it does not conflict with any other existing registrations. So this lasts for roughly under 15 months, where 15 months would be your maximum period. Step three would be the opposition period. So if your trademark is approved, it will be published in the Australian Official Journal of Trademarks for a 2-month period, allowing any third parties to object with your registration. Then there comes your post-registration. So if no objections arise, your trademark is officially registered and valid for 10 years. And then there is an option to renew that registration, which comes with its own cost, as we've discussed previously. So our role in all of this is to assist you in preparing and submitting the application and responding to any examination reports and handling any objections that have come up. So now we will move on to any search report conflicts and similarities that have come up. So now we move on to the initial trademark search report that we have conducted and any possible similarities and conflicts that may have come up. So we have considered and done an advanced trademark search report with which did come out with some possible similarities and conflicts, which may initially pose a risk to our registration process. Um, So we have attached the PDF of that alongside this document, so you can view that alongside. So first we considered your name and word trademark of Eco Green, which is currently protected under a class 16. So they would pose a risk if they take any action. Another class that we had a problem with was class 25, and that word was Safe Tech. Although it has been removed and not registered, or sorry, not renewed, my bad, just haven't paid the renewal fee, so that may still pose a risk. The next word is green safe, which is not totally identical, but it's still there as a risk. Those cover class 9, 16, 35, and 41, which pose similarities, and that is registered. So although no identical trademarks were fine, they still need to be considered. So the application will need to be reconsidered to minimize the risk of it becoming unsuccessful. This is because the examiners may conduct assessments like they could say under Section 41, trademarks were likely to be needed by other traders. So hence they could reject it that way. They could say Section 44, they could say trademarks were too similar to other trademarks, so they could reject it in that way. So to minimize the risk, we'll have to consider the applications over and over again to make ourselves basically safe from any other similarities and conflicts that may arise. So although sometimes they may get rejected, so in the case of an unsuccessful trademark protection application, there are alternatives, and we'll consider that in the slides following. So in the case of an unsuccessful application, there are alternative protections available. One being your copyright protection, which is automatic. We don't have to do anything in that. Two being your business domain and name registration, and then the use of TM or SM until reapplication is done of the registration. Although these don't provide the same level as protection as your trademark, they still give you some legal authority over your business. Finally, I have attached a detailed trademark search report and a draft application form. Let me know if you have any questions and we can move forward with your application process.